Hello, everybody. This is Antonio again for the third resilience talk. So subscribe my channel. You can also choose the chapters here below to the interview if you want to click on the specific link. So today I'm delighted to have Anne Abel from Forbes magazine. Hello, Anne. Thank you so
Hello.
much. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Anne. So, and I will do a short introduction about you for the audience. So, Abel is an award-winning travel writer and editor for 18 years. So, most recently as a senior editor in Forbes Life, and she written about more than 600 destinations, adventure trips, operators, and hotels in 97 countries and counting. So more and more. She knows the difference between what's merely expensive and what deserves its high price tag. So she shared her inspiration also in other media like Departures, Rob Report, Condé Nast Traveler, Afar, National Geographic, and others. And thank you so much. I will start to ask you. We all know that the tourism sector was specifically affected, right, by this pandemic. In countries like Italy, Spain, or Portugal, the total contribution of travel and tourism to GDP is 14%. Spain, in Portugal, accounted for 52.3% of the services exports in 2019. So how do you think the tourism industry is reacting to this pandemic? Do you think when we are difficult question, right? But when are we coming back?
Well, I don't know if the tourism industry as we know it right now will ever come back. Yeah. I don't know if we will have cruises with 900,000 passengers on them. I don't know if we will have package tours where it's all about crowding as many people onto an airplane and a tour bus as possible. I don't know if that's coming back. But as you noted in my bio, my specialty for nearly 20 years has been luxury travel. And I believe this sector of the industry is in a better position, partly because it was already based on distance. It was already based on having private experiences, having more space to yourself. It doesn't feel so dangerous right now. It is also, as we saw in the recession of 2008, 2009, or longer in some places, more resilient because the very high earners were not so affected by the recession as the sort of like 3-4 star mid-tier level kind of travelers.
Oh, okay, great. So and next, do you see alternative sources of income for the tourism sector until we come back? So since the most majority of its activity is made impossible by social distancing, you are talking about the specific segment, right? So you only see opportunities in that segment specifically that you are talking about?
I think what has given me a lot of optimism as I've been watching things unfold in the past 5 or 6 months, however far in we are now, is the way that businesses that were very dependent on international tourism have changed course and successfully captured more domestic tourism.
Okay, domestic, yeah, they are more focused in domestic, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, since the disconfinement here in Portugal, I have stayed in, I believe, 6 hotels from the Douro Valley to the Algarve, and all of them are telling me that they are getting considerably more Portuguese guests than ever before.
In Portugal is the fact, right? We are more focused now on the Portuguese customers, right? Yeah, domestic.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they've had to change their offering in many ways. Yeah. It might be a different price. It might be a different type of food. Just the tour guide on the Douro Valley has to do the tour differently because he's not assuming his clients know nothing anymore, just assuming they know things. So they've had to change approach.
The clean and safe tag and all that, right?
The Turismo de Portugal, Turismo Portugal, or Visit Portugal, as the tourism arm is known, has really done a lot to help the industry and to give travelers more confidence.
Confidence,
about
yeah. Yeah.
being back out in the world.
So in fact, some people say more in strategically thinking that, of course, the tourism, the luxury tourism segment will bring more added value, right? And you have here in Portugal so many assets and so many good things that we can offer and have that added value. Do you think that that could be a more and more shift that we were already doing, but we could do more that shift and that focus on luxury travel, or we have a path to do, or we are doing well in your opinion?
I think focus more on luxury travel would be good for many countries, and I'm aware that part of that idea is elitist, but if everyone has forgotten now, but less than a year ago, we were all worried about over-tourism. We were worried
Exactly
about
the opposite,
massive
right?
numbers of cruise ship passengers, huge numbers of people, affecting the price of housing, affecting the quality of life, and not really bringing anything in, not contributing to the economy in a very meaningful way. And what my colleagues in the luxury travel industry have been talking about for years is the idea of high value, low impact.
Exactly.
So if tourism comes back in a way that is more
Exactly.
beneficial for people of Portugal or Italy or Spain or Thailand or any place, with less impact, less effect on individuals' quality of life, I think that's a good thing.
Impact in a broad way, right? Environment and the quality of life, right?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So can you tell us some examples of resilience in this sector? Okay, so you are now, as I understood, more focused in luxury travel, but in luxury travel or other kind of tourism?
Yeah, I mean, the luxury hotels that I've been writing about, which are some of the top ones in Portugal, have been doing really good business since they've reopened.
Okay, okay, great.
Really busy, because everyone wants to get out of the cities and go be in the countryside.
Okay, okay, good. So that is one thing about the opportunity, yeah?
Yeah.
Every small things we have to cherish to motivate ourselves. Okay.
I think just businesses that have said we work for foreigners, that's what we do all along, and now having to change course and encourage Portuguese people to come here and change the way they do business in order to get that result is an example of resilience. I just last week got an announcement from a health spa in Canada whose normal program involves 20 people coming together for a week, spending a lot of time together, and they have put together some online retreats that actually sound like they have real value, and they're charging for them, so it will be a revenue stream for them.
Okay, great. Online retreats? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to get people to pay for things online, but I am seeing some travel operators who are doing things that have genuine value that people are paying for. I think restaurants changing course is another good example. I think one that many people know about is Noma in Copenhagen, which was the #1 restaurant in the world according to that list 10 years ago. Still was a place that people will fly. I flew across the ocean to have lunch there once.
Okay.
But that's not possible anymore. They are serving hamburgers right now.
Really? Oh,
I'm sure they're really, really good hamburgers and not inexpensive hamburgers, but they have been resilient. They have come up with what's going to work for us right now. And what works is getting the people of Copenhagen to go there and have a hamburger. So I think that's a good example.
So these high-class restaurants are also struggling, right?
Yes. Most of the high-class restaurants were dependent on tourism. Even
if it has other kind of customers with higher income, it's also struggling, right?
Currently, yes, because there's two problems going on right now. One is the economic recession, which the highest earners, the highest level of segment of the travel industry is not worried about. For instance, there's record business in private aviation right now. But the other side of it is safety and in many cases closed borders. You know,
Yeah.
I'm an
The
American.
measures, yeah.
My fellow citizens cannot go anywhere right now,
Anywhere, yeah.
and that's having
Everything
a big
is
effect
closed,
on
yeah.
a lot of the world.
Do you remember any other case that it's managing well this crisis, or from
I
what
have seen
because you are
some.
aware and you see a lot of things?
I am aware that there are some hotels, even in Portugal, that have been hiring in the past months.
Okay.
Which leads me to believe their business is doing well. And I think that's part because of an extra focus on cleaning, but because of this extra emphasis on private events. They
okay.
need more guides, they need more chefs, they need more people to do this. So I know anecdotally, some businesses are doing well enough that they're not only keeping their staff, but adding to it.
Great. And in regarding media, because you work in media for so many years in different kinds of publications. We heard this pandemic brought high usage of internet, namely news, right, and media.
Absolutely.
Okay. So did that have a positive effect on media revenue, or just traffic? So do you see social media as a menace or an opportunity for traditional media?
I think those are separate questions. I think what we saw for the first part of that was that traffic has been at a very high level. People, especially at the beginning of the confinement, people had so much time on their hands and people wanted to know what was going on.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, that is not how most media make their money. They make their money through advertising. And advertisers pulled back because their own businesses were hurting, or because in some cases they just didn't want their messaging to be published next to a depressing news story. So media has struggled with that. And another thing that's happened is many newspapers, especially, put the common good ahead of their business, as they should have during this crisis. And things that were normally behind a paywall or available only to subscribers became available to everyone because it was in the common good that everyone have this public health information. But then they lost money from subscriptions when they went that way. So
okay, so they in that way they lost subscriptions.
Yeah, because they chose public health above their business, which is something I respect a great deal. But it is an industry that is hurting as much as many others.
Yeah, and you think that it could have some opportunity of, okay, you have less revenue, but you have more data, more people, and that it could be, I don't know, using that data in some way. How do you see any way of, okay, you create content and people, but if they don't pay, it's difficult, right?
It makes it difficult for the writers and editors to get paid.
So do you see this kind of data do you have, because it's more you have any opportunity using that?
I was
in Broadway.
During the beginning of the pandemic and the beginning of the confinement, when I was not able to travel at all, I ended up writing more news stories, and I got a great deal of traffic on that, and I really enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed having a higher level of engagement with readers than I'm used to having.
Okay.
And it gave me a chance to do a very different kind of writing, and one that I ultimately found very rewarding.
Okay, so that is, you have also positive, even the motivation that gives you, and perhaps for future, right, or for your work, right? It could be something.
I believe tourism is in a better place than media. I am.
Media was already not so good, right? Because of you see more and more newspapers doing the paywall strategy and the subscription, because yeah, the media is going to the social media, right?
Digital advertising
Yeah.
doesn't pay nearly as well as print used to, so they're trying to make up for the revenue some way.
Yeah, but you are still
But
working, so that
we
is
also
good.
used to subscribe to newspapers and print magazines without thinking twice about paying for it. It's only in the past 20 years since the internet that we as consumers expect everything to be free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people start thinking like that, and sometimes traditional media see like a menace, but also the social media also amplifies the traditional media, right? Or no?
It can. It can
Okay.
amplify, it can also detract.
Yeah, it's not a new discussion, right? But
No, it's
now,
not.
yeah, perhaps I would say with this amount of data that you have, you could work on them in the future, right? When people have more money, and they can because you are extracting information, right, about people,
Yes.
about their tastes, about their. Who would say, for example, that the about with all the GDPR things assured, right? But the media is now with the gold of nowadays, that it's data, right? That
Yes.
it could also,
And the
right?
GDPR things do not apply in the US.
Ah,
So that is
okay, okay.
a huge audience of people who have even more data being collected.
Oh, okay, okay. That's another discussion, bigger discussion.
But
But do
in
you
terms
see?
of
I'm saying, for example, you see partnerships, for example, between media and other things like sectors that are striving more. I am thinking out loudly, out loud.
yeah,
No,
I think
perhaps.
maybe this is a weird example for these times, but there were a lot of collaborations between magazines and newspapers and websites also in travel. Magazines like Travel and Leisure had their own curated trips. New York Times travel section has their own curated trips.
Okay.
There was,
Okay.
was
Okay.
already
Okay.
a lot of experience between publications and travel experiences. I know another where that's common in a world that I cover and write about is wine. A lot of organizations have their own wine clubs
Okay.
and publications.
Okay. Okay. Okay, and so we have some tips here, and thank you so much for your quick the sneak peek in this team, because it's so important, and it was the most affected, almost, right? Tourism sector and also media, right?
I have
One of the most,
a friend who's a wedding planner. I think she's been affected a little bit more.
lit more, yeah.
But travel and events
Yeah.
are really taking the worst of this.
Yeah, let's expect this will come back, because people need this, right? Some people say, we don't use now these services because we don't need it. No, it's not true.
No, we need it.
We need it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, humans are built curious.
Yeah, yeah. We are not using because we can't, right? So yeah. So, and thank you so much, and all the people. Thanks for watching. I hope these questions also put yourself thinking about this. So see you next week for another one. Bye bye.